Big smile.
Big smile. Okay, everybody. All right, we're live. What's up, guys and girls and everyone in between? How we doing out there in YouTube land? Coming to you via the magic of the internet. This is episode 110 of The Scope, your source for FPS news, banter, and all around good times and conversation. I'm one of your co-hosts, Crash, joined by my two other co-hosts, Buff and Blue. What's up, men?
What's up?
What a week. What a week, man. There's stuff to talk about. It's like not a ton of news stories, but some big ones. Some big ones to get into. Yeah, man. Buff is back from his sickness. He's recovered. We didn't lose him. Back.
You got down with the sickness.
Yeah, you almost lost me. It's pretty close.
Were there some dark times in there or what?
Yeah, dude. I was at 103.6 and I was like, holy fuck, I might need to call an ambulance.
Oh, dang. Dang, cooking it out. I've said this like every time one of my friends gets sick, man. I'm due. I haven't been sick in a really long time, and I feel like I'm on borrowed time. Like I should be getting sick any day now because it's been so long.
And now that you said it, next week it'll just be me and Buff.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just plan on that. Since I put that out into the world, it's just gonna be Buff and Blue next week. I had a good run. But yeah, what's up, everybody in chat? Big Fry, good to see you, man. Blackout J Bugs, Woo, Phoenix, Teamer, Seth, all you guys, appreciate you. Woo with the $9.99 super chat. Yeah. Let's get it, man. That's super kind of you,
Thank
dude.
you, brother.
Yeah,
really appreciate it, man. Super kind of you.
If I didn't make it, he would have probably given you guys a bigger donation, so that's my fault.
Yeah, bigger Buff, guys. He just didn't pull through.
Get Buff.
Could have been the Buff Memorial Show.
Oh, jeez. Biggest internet FPS podcast drama out there right now. It would have been big scam. Would have been all over Deserto. Would have been big time. You got to do crazy stuff like that to get famous, don't you know? Haven't you seen TikTok, man? Come on.
That's true.
What, fake a death?
Yeah, we'll fake Crash's death next week.
We could. Yeah, because I already set it up. Up saying I should be getting really sick any day now. So it's good. We're priming the pump.
Arms of an angel.
Yeah, right.
Donate to Crash's Memorial Fund. And then like 2 weeks later, a new gaming channel pops up on YouTube, Dash Games. And it's me with like sunglasses and I shave my facial hair.
Yeah. Just get the mustache.
Perfect. Man, this is really coming together. The only problem is we're live when we talked about it. So dang it, man.
Darn. Gave away our secrets.
But again, we thank you for the $9.99. We're gonna go around and talk about what we've been up to. I know Blue talked a little bit about it before we went live. I've been kind of out of the loop. I was off the grid for a little bit. We'll get into that. But before we do, a couple housekeeping things. Thank you guys, first off, for being here. We appreciate it. This show is sponsored by you guys. So thank you for being here. We really do appreciate it. Keep the comments coming in chat. They're on the screen so people watch it back. You guys are part of the show. As well as folks have been downloading the audio version quite a bit, more than I thought. It goes up every week with audio downloads. So that's super kind of you guys. If you guys got a second and want to support the show, drop us a review on Spotify or Apple. Helps us a lot, pushes the show out. And we do appreciate our audio listeners as well. You guys are all awesome. So with that being said, dude, what have you been up to, Blue? Why were you out and about? What are you going on? You're unplugged from the internet or what?
Unplugged from the internet. I never talked about it. By the way, Justin, thank you for the $4.99, brother. Appreciate it. Hell yeah,
Jeez,
new Battlefield disaster.
Yeah, it's already starting and the game's not even announced yet. Oh yeah.
Oh jeez, but just again, after the accident a couple weeks ago, I finally got the new truck. It's sitting in the driveway. Looks good. Already got a couple little things already installed on it. And also, I don't think I mentioned it last episode because there was just so much to talk about and we didn't get to it. Or we forgot about it. My community manager spot, or did we talk about it?
We didn't quite get to it, but I saw your video. Let's talk about that. Yeah.
So I became a community manager for Incursion Red River officially. Doing meetings with these guys and all the time with all the stuff that I could see what development goes on behind the scenes now, which is crazy. The amount of work that people do, and it's very stressful, especially if you have like a second job and you're pretty much working you're basically working 2 jobs for game development. So it's really cool to see it. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how the community reacts to it. Yeah, Fry's gonna be blaming the stuff on me now.
Yeah.
I gotta respond all to the YouTube comments now and Twitter and stuff like that. So, but
Just let him have it.
Incursion Red River, official community manager. So really cool to finally be a part of a development team.
So for those who aren't familiar, that is, if I'm not mistaken, what used to be Project Quarantine. There's
Yes,
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it used to be Project Quarantine. A lot of people thought, from what I saw on some YouTube comments, they thought Project Quarantine was the asset pack. So they thought they just took an asset pack and switched the name, which is hilarious. So yeah, already off to a great start.
You got some work to do, bud.
Damage control. I got a lot of work to do. I'm out there trying to do damage control. But you know what? I think YouTube comments prepared me a lot for working with some of the things. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Gotta have that thick skin if you're on the internet.
Yeah.
Especially I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but short form content, the comments in YouTube Shorts and TikTok are a completely different breed, and I enjoy reading them. It makes me feel better about myself and my mental state.
Like I already gotta do damage control on the comments here. Damn it! Come on.
Oh yeah. No, that's cool, man.
I just really working on the truck. I've been again just what was it? It's pretty good to just get away from Twitter and stuff like that, especially before I really get into the position more, because then I'll be like glued to a computer, which it's nice. But I'm setting up the truck to go camping, dude. We're gonna
that's sick.
Get a rooftop camp and everything.
You're gonna be a Broverlander.
Pretty dope. Yeah, dude. I mean, I already found a community in my town.
He's a true Broverlander, guys. We're gonna lose him to a Broverlander podcast. Dang it, man. We're gonna lose.
Getting the full, winch in the front, and
get the
rise it up by 2 inches.
Get the Toyota edition mattress that airs up and fits right in the back, so you can sleep in the back. And
damn
man,
it, how did you know about that? There is a mattress that form fits.
I know. Well, so long story short, I bought a topper for my truck, a soft topper. It's like a canvas topper, so I can haul all the junk when we go to the ranch. Dude, I was looking at them on the forums, and they're all on these, like, everybody gets them that are these Broverlander guys that just like put insulation in them and set up little camping deals in the back of their Toyotas and stuff. So I know the road you're headed down. Okay. I know a little bit about it.
Even like the canvas backing on the back of the 4Runner too, to all stuff and stuff like that. So it's funny that you brought that up too. But
it's great. Then you're going to be asking me Starlink questions, so you can be gaming out there in when you're Broverlander rig.
Dude, I'll take a road trip out to Kansas.
Easy. Easy. That's
awesome. We can go, mudding in your town, in your area.
Heck yeah. But no, man, congrats from us on the CM role. That's awesome. I look forward to checking in on that as we go and seeing what you're learning, like what you're seeing, and that's going to be cool to like have an inside view, because I've often thought about it'd be cool to get closer to that and see what goes on behind the scenes with just devs, like, and how they're doing stuff like that.
That's kind of like why I just put it out there, and the guys are really cool of like allowing me to be a part of the team. Of course, like signing NDAs, stuff like that. I'm letting all the secrets out. Just kidding.
Leak.
So, but yeah, no, I think and Fry kind of mentioned it a little bit. I think it's time for like us as creators. You got all these like YouTubers out here making games now and game projects and stuff like that. So I think it's only form fitting that we start to like see more and more creators start getting to these positions. And
it's sweet.
And it's just another chip on the block, I guess.
Yeah, because you got Lossy is with Bulkhead working on War Dogs as a community manager, and then Devil Dog with Madfinger
with
on
Gray Zone. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
it makes sense. That's cool. That's awesome, man. Dude, Buff, how about you? You probably just been in the sick ward, huh, dude? You've been nursing yourself back to health, or what have you been up to?
Yeah, I was pretty focused on not dying for a
Smart.
while there, but
You can play it.
so I didn't play anything, but I did just last night I watched a 4K UHD like full gameplay of Battlefield 3 single player. Just like watched all 3.5 hours of it, and
Of the
just, like,
campaign.
yeah, dude, that's my favorite campaign of any game besides The Last of Us. Like, I loved that campaign, so I just watched this dude play it in 4K, and I was just like, man,
It's
they need
crazy.
to remake it.
You know what? I was just playing. I mean, it was Battlefield 4, but I was playing Rush Operation Metro
Oh yeah,
again,
great.
and oh my god, just the fun I was having. But a lot of people didn't kind of harked on Battlefield 3's campaign when it first came out. Actually,
I loved it. I mean, if you look back, especially Battlefield's never been known for campaigns, but of all the campaigns, I mean, the Bad Companies were good, but I still think Battlefield 3 hands down like the best story. I thought that was a really, really good story, and the back and forth between, you know, the Marines and the Russian Spetsnaz unit was really cool. So that was there's a lot of memorable missions for me with that. You know,
there
like
is, yeah,
the fighter jets, yeah, the Halo jump, Paris, yeah, like just
Halo jump
really
was
good
epic,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that. And then, you know, obviously where Battlefield is today with what happened with 2042 with no single player, it just kind of just was like a reminder, like a painful reminder. Like, man, it really was so much better to be a gamer in like 2010 through 2014 with like peak.
Yeah. I like Wu said in chat, like right along those lines with that Battlefront remaster coming. Did you guys see that?
So
I did not, no.
So yeah, we can mention that actually in a quick chat because I totally forgot about it. That's the only thing that I heard about this entire week.
We can talk about it now if you want. I don't have quick shots on the list, man.
Okay, we can talk because basically they relaunched quick chat in the beginning. They relaunched Battlefront 1 and 2 again, pretty much for
the most
consoles. Like 2005, 2007.
Oh, the OGs, yeah,
the
those were
OGs,
awesome.
man.
Those were
and
so good.
they like brought them back, and they introduced like new heroes and brought in like Battlefront 1 maps to Battlefront 2.
Wow, nice.
And now the modding scene again has exploded for it too, which is super awesome. So even more mods are getting more spotlight, stuff like that. But they brought in like Kit Fisto and I believe Ayla was already there before, but yeah, they brought in like Battlefront 1 maps like Bespin and Renvar to like Battlefront 2, and people used to do that, and that was like original cut content as well too before they stopped. So they, you know, they said, I don't know why they did it. It's kind of just, I guess, because it was like the anniversary, I believe.
Is it already released?
No.
Yeah, Asajj Ventress and Kit Fisto. It's coming March 14th. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So
that's awesome. Those I had so much fun with those. I like just being
64 player multiplayer.
Yeah, those
it's gonna be on PC. That's crazy. And it's like, oh wow, it's kind of like, you know, they have to relaunch these old games to get people hyped for Star Wars again. Because clearly the new Battlefront games didn't do so
well. I mean,
well.
It is an EA title, so maybe we'll see a little Battlefield 3 or 4 remastered would be pretty nice down the road.
Oh, so yeah.
But
so they're saying
and not even just that too. Asper was the developer and the publisher for this, and they also did the old Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remasters as well too. So it's interesting to see kind of like a relaunch and a bunch of old games as well.
That's really cool.
So yeah, the Battlefront collection comes next month with 64-player online. They're adding bonus map to the first one, Jabba's Palace. Bonus maps to Battlefront 2, Bespin, Renvar, Harbor, Citadel, and Yavin 4 Arena.
Yeah, so those were Battlefront 1 maps getting brought into Battlefield 2 with Battlefront 2 again, which
Yeah.
was cut content before they stopped development.
Nice.
Which will blast onto Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X on March 14th. PC? No?
It is launching on PC though, which is strange. It doesn't
Are
say
they
it there
lying?
because it says coming March 14th, 2024 on Steam,
Huh.
and it's the Battlefront Classic Collection. So
Okay.
you get Battlefront
Nice.
1 and 2.
I'm going to check it out.
Which
Dude,
again, it says right now it's on sale for $31.51. But it's like $35.01 normally. I don't know why the 1 cent, but
Yeah. It'd be cool if because I remember they had Battlefront 3 was like it was in progress at the time and they had some
it
good
was
stuff
close
going.
to being done. Yeah, it
so
was.
it'd be cool if they brought in some of that stuff. I remember seeing a
I
lot of
don't think
footage,
so.
but
I mean, it was I
insane.
think it was Radical
Yeah.
something, the developer
Yeah.
for it, and it was gonna be what was it? Gosh, it was gonna be like I think they said it was like 95% complete before they canceled
They
it.
canned
Yeah, and
it,
it
yep.
was, and it had the ground to space battles and the
That was it.
transition and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was what everyone wanted because Battlefront 1 was like you had land battles with some air combat, and then Battlefront 2 brought in space battles. So we just Battlefront 3 had to bring in ship to or space to land, and then we that's what we thought the EA games would bring in, and it was just like almost like a dumbed down version.
Of the original,
Which was strange.
But it's weird
Pandemic
'cause-
Studios was the OG devs for Battlefront 1 and 2. Radical was for Battlefront 3. They switched up the developers.
Okay. And then we didn't get a ground to space, like a seamless transition until what? No Man's Sky, probably? That was like 10 years later, if not more.
But the technology,
Starfield.
they had their own technology, and it was like
kidding.
Starfield. Yeah, Starfield can't even do that.
They'll loading screen you anywhere you want to go.
It wasn't a loading screen, but it was kind of. I remember seeing like some of the leaked gameplay from Battlefront 3. It was like you would, and of course, all of this you can go first person, third person. The first person like cockpits as well were like amazing. It looks so cool, realistic.
I remember seeing that gameplay
by those graphics, by those times, But it was like when you go from land, go to space, it was almost like a loading screen. You were like burning through the atmosphere, and that was like your loading screen. So, but it was still pretty seamless.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's
Excited.
huge. I have very fond memories of the OG ones on PS2. Some of the first like gaming I ever
PlayStation
did.
2. Yeah.
Me too. Good time.
I would routinely on weekends like stay up until the sun came up, playing Galactic Conquest like over and over and over and over.
Oh my god, getting all the
Taking the planets over.
Galactic was so good.
Dang it, man.
That's why I kind of like Helldivers a bit, because it kind
Really?
of reminds you of it a little bit.
I need to check that out. If you guys also might have caught at the beginning, I've been a little bit unplugged from the internet as well. I actually took a crazy trip out to the ranch that I'm hoping to move my family to. I drove clear out there this week with a friend of mine, and we did a bunch of measurements and stuff, trying to figure out what all I need to fix up the house. And man, it was awesome. We got out, we did a little predator hunting, tried to call in some coyotes. Saw a lot of deer, antelope, mule deer, whitetail deer, antelope. Get me excited.
You're gonna be eating good.
No turkeys. Yeah. I'm gonna have to when Mini Crash gets bigger. That kid's eating like a horse already, dude. So, but no, it was fun to get out, do some hiking, do some shooting, and see some deer and stuff. At one point I was sitting on the back porch of the house. I was glassing mule deer climbing up a canyon wall on one side, and about that time 4 whitetails came out of the creek bottom, and I'm like looking at both species of deer from my potential porch at the same time, and I'm like, I gotta get this going. This is where I need to be.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, pretty sweet.
I wonder how strong that Starlink. Did you test Starlink out there already?
Yeah, I did.
said,
I took it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's wild, man. Like, say what you want about Elon or whatever, I don't care. Starlink is insane. It's so freaking sweet, dude. So I'm on the mobile plan. I did that because you can pause it. So like if somebody had an RV, you can take it anywhere in the US and plug it in and get internet. But with that,
Yeah.
you have lower priority. If there's a bunch of residential people, they get first priority to data. So you kind of get throttled. But I was out there doing speed tests every once in a while on the RV plan, 150 to 300 down. 6 to 30 up,
Wow.
and ping was hanging around 40 to 60. Sometimes as low as
That's
30.
insane. Because we want to take road trips and stuff like that, and it would be nice because as my son's homeschooled, it'd be nice that we could just get up and go. But I need an internet connection for him to kind of just do his work every now and then.
Yeah.
So it'd be, I was looking at Starlink. So
It's sick, man. You might, in like more populated areas, those speeds are probably going to be a fair amount slower. But
when you get out there, yeah.
where we're out there, like I said, this place I want to move to is like 100 miles from the closest Walmart. Like, we're legit out there, dude. You're 45 minutes to a tiny hole in the wall grocery store. Okay. Like, I am out in the sticks. And it's so wild to me. I have a box that's like this big, and I take it out. I set up the antenna with a clear view of the sky. I run a cord through the window inside, plug it in the router, plug it into the wall, and I have high speed internet in like 2 minutes. It's so wild.
If it's a cloudy day, does that affect it? I would assume.
Clouds don't affect it until it gets like super rainy, like thunderstorms and stuff.
Dense. Yeah. Okay.
We'll knock it offline, and like snow. But it actually, the antenna has a thing to melt snow in it, so it melts snow off of itself.
Wow, that's cool.
Which is pretty cool. So it's neat, man. Like I was talking to my buddy. I'm like, man, like three or 4 years ago, this wouldn't even be a possibility for me to move out here because there would be no internet at all and no shot at internet. And then to think just a couple years later, you have these Starlinks with like 5,000 satellites orbiting the Earth about 300 miles up. Lets you do it, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That he launched with his own rockets.
Yeah. And since I got into Starlink and like it's part of my future potentially, I'm trying to figure out, is this going to be around? Is this going to be sustainable? And they've already started to make money with the company. Last year was like net positive for the first time. And they're launching like 22 satellites at a time, a couple times as a week. And that rocket is so insane, the Falcon 9. It goes up, shits out the satellites, and then lands back in the same spot.
It comes back down, and then just
they're doing launches
again,
like they're doing launches like every other day.
Dude, I see them all the time here in Florida. Like, I just looked, towards the East Coast, and there's always, I could see, I either see the rocket going up or I see the aftermath of like the rocket smoke, stuff like that. So every other week I'm just seeing them. It's really cool to see. I'm a huge space like nerd and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
and by the end of the year, they're supposed to be using their Starship rocket, which is going to be able to hold like three to 5 times as much payload. So they're going to switch. Right now, they're launching the mini Starlink satellites. They're actually building bigger ones, and they're going to launch more of those at a time on the Starship rockets. So it's crazy. So it should be getting better and better. Elon said he eventually wants to get to where everybody gets a gig speed. So I don't know.
Did you, real quick, and this is like the kind of a little bit more space related, did you see the first private company that landed a lunar lander on the moon?
Wasn't that SpaceX?
No, it wasn't even SpaceX.
I didn't.
It was Intuitive Machines.
Did SpaceX take it there?
I think technically I believe so, but it was their lander. But the fact that this was the first in 50 years any human machine has touched the surface of the moon, but the first time a private company ever has, like, now you're looking at privatizing space.
You mean
officially.
The first time a private company has staged a moon landing?
Yeah.
Big conspiracy theory show here.
Oh, Lord.
Launched it from the flat plane that is Earth right up. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We live in a simulation.
I hope people don't think I'm serious, but birds aren't real. Birds are actually real. I've eaten a fair amount of them.
A lot of wires. I mean, anyways, continue.
A high in iron content. No, man, it was crazy. We tested Starlink. We actually, to get us kind of back on track a little bit, since we had Starlink in the evenings, we did a bunch of measurements to the house. I'm trying to budget everything to see if I can make this move. And then in the evenings, we caught back up on all the Rainbow Six stuff. So since we had high speed internet, we could watch the Rainbow Six Siege Invitational stuff. We could watch the Year 9 roadmap stuff. Because it was my buddy Ham who I play Siege with. So we were sitting down drinking beers in the evening out in the middle of BFE watching all the Rainbow Six stuff. So it was cool, man. It was just surreal. Because that's always been a place where I'm on the top of the hill. I go down in the canyon. I text my wife, hey, I'm going down to the house. I'll call you tomorrow when I come back up out, because you have nothing. you know, when you drop down in.
Now you can be
Now you
streaming
sh-
out there.
Yeah,
you
I was.
gotta do a stream out there, man.
Yeah, now I was video calling my boy to say goodnight, like from the house. Like it's crazy. So
That's
cool,
dope.
man.
That's dope. I don't see a
Space.
stream out there in the background as all rocks playing R6. You know,
I hope I can stream. I some people have trouble with it, so we'll have to see because it can drop out for like a couple seconds or a second at a time. So it might be tough. I also kind of will want to. I might want to start a YouTube channel about like living out there, life out there, management, like hunting, wildlife, like kind of like my own like meat eater thing, like from management all the way to harvesting the animal to cooking it.
Yeah, that Netflix
cool.
show is amazing. I love it.
It would be sweet. But anyway, to bring that back around, Starlink is doing a lot better than Battlefield. Is that the segue that we needed?
There you go.
I think so.
Man, yeah, be off the grid gaming. I'm gonna change all my YouTube stuff to off the grid gaming. That's gonna be
I like it.
Here we go. This was the big ticket item. I could even tell this week I was a real podcaster. Guys, this is how I know. Like we're making it. We're making big things happen. Is when this broke, several people tagged me on Twitter. We got to talk about this on the podcast. That's
sick.
That's how we know. So here we are, guys. And let me try to frame this in a way that makes sense. Because I saw some people say it's just one person leaving Battlefield. Why are you worried about it? When 2042 launched, EA and everybody acknowledged they missed big time. They didn't hear what the community wanted. And it was basically they announced officially in earnings calls and in other interviews that it was a whiff. Not right before they said that players just didn't know how to use specialists and were too stupid. Buff remembers that. But what happened was
play the game.
Yeah, they said it sucked, and that's like how
I don't know
how are we changing it, right? So you have Rebecca Kutaz took over DICE, boom. Okay, then you have Marcus Leto starting a new studio called Ridgeline Games in I think Seattle, was in the Pacific Northwest, to work on the narrative part. You have Byron Bede from Call of Duty as part of the upper franchise creative director management, and the big daddy Vince Zampella to oversee the Battlefield franchise from Respawn, formerly Infinity Ward. So that kind of sets the table for what happened. And you had Ripple Effect is working on a new, different way to experience Battlefield. DICE in Sweden, they're working on traditional Battlefield multiplayer. Ridgeline Games was to be working on the next installment in the narrative direction for the universe of Battlefield. So that's what's up. And what happened a couple days ago, Marcus Leto quietly, not unnoticeably, but quietly left Ridgeline Games, and there is not much information about Ridgeline Games on LinkedIn and official sites and stuff like that as to what's going on. Basically, he just quietly left. He removed everything Battlefield and EA related from his bio on LinkedIn and on his Facebook official page. He said that he left Ridgeline and left EA Games. He has, at the time of recording this podcast, this program, he has yet to comment on it. It feels weird that one of the big pillars of the crew that's coming in to save Battlefield left before it was even announced. And that doesn't feel good. Now, it doesn't necessarily, and that's what I want people to hear. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't necessarily mean it's doomed, but it doesn't feel good. Right? So,
and really quick, just to add on to that, I was looking to, and I am not sure, it was one of the executives. I think it was the VP or somebody at the executive level from that same studio stepped down a week or two prior also, which is interesting.
Yep. So in this article from Eurogamer, this will frame it up a little bit better than I did. Danny on PC saw it first. He lives on Twitter. It seems like Game Fabricator has left EA, removing all references from his bio. And then it is of note that he said the plot thickens. Co-founder of Ridgeline Games and art director Chris Matthews left in January to go to 343 Industries to work on Halo. So you have the co-founder and the director both leaving this new studio that was set up to work on Battlefield next narrative installment. That's wild. Like, I mean, yeah.
And when we say narrative installment, what does that mean, really? Is that supposed to be like the whole in-universe storyline, or campaign of what is the next title?
I think it's more of what the first thing you said of it's more of like going along with the in-lore universe of the current Battlefield to continue on telling the story of the specialist through DLCs and updates, stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be an official campaign game or a game with a campaign in it.
That's what I thought the opposite of Blue. So I took it to mean
be an actual campaign.
Yeah, I took it to mean they were either, some people worded it that they were working on a standalone single player Battlefield game
originally, and
then also some people thought no, it's actually the campaign part, but they were working on a narrative driven installment of Battlefield. Like that's what Ridgeline's like title thing was. So they were working on a single player experience for Battlefield, whether that was standalone or in the next title. That's what they were working on. And you can take it to mean several things. You can go as far as to say they're scrapping that, or you can take it to say, you know, it wouldn't surprise me. Let's tinfoil hat it, guys. This is the disclaimer. Crash is now totally talking out of his ass and making stuff up right now. It could mean that I could really see this, because one of the things that why I'm sad about this is because Marcus, when he first got on, was really, really receptive and really active talking to the community. What do you like about Battlefield? What makes it special to you? What would you like to see in a game? He was all over Twitter. He was almost Mark Rubin levels of transparency and interaction. It was great.
Yep.
So we got excited. And then I could see them saying, Tom Henderson also said, if we put this together, Tom Henderson also said that the specialists were here to stay, and they were going to build on them narratively about the backstories and lore with the specialists, and everyone hates the specialists.
Great idea.
I could see Leto saying that's dumb and I'm not doing that. And EA saying, yeah, you are. And then Leto going, no, bye. So I could see creative differences being an issue, because someone who is actually listening to the community would know that we don't want specialists anymore. But EA sees dollar signs.
And that's the thing. I think I mentioned to you in our like chat earlier. I was just like, I don't know if it's good news or if it's bad news. And most likely it's, I mean, we're not gonna know until probably next year sometime when we see what this is gonna pan out to be story wise and game wise. But yeah, I mean, it's a good point. The other I saw someone floating in the comments. Well, maybe he did everything that needed to be done, and then he just like decided to step away and turn that position over to someone else while he maybe potentially went back to Halo or something. We're not gonna know, but it is. I like your perspective on it, Crash, because he did ask. He was the only person I really saw
ever
who was engaging with the fan base, and everyone in the fan base said we don't want specialists. So exactly, if EA is trying to force specialists, and then he's just like, okay, well, you know, I'm not going to be involved in another train wreck. You guys brought me in for a reason. I'm not. You know, if you're not going to learn from it, I'm going to step away. That would make the most sense to me. So I'm really curious to see what ends up with this, but I think we can all agree if they are in fact sticking with the specialist narrative, I think that's obviously a big mistake. So hopefully that's kind of what this is him disagreeing and stepping away and not being a part of it.
Yeah. So I would almost guess that eventually he might comment on it. It probably has to pass through PR checks and everybody has to make sure it's all right before he tweets it. I could see him commenting on it. The other thing that we need to keep our eye on is if Ridgeline stays intact, that might tell us if the next Battlefield is going to have a narrative installment or a campaign, or if it's scrapped. So that's going to be the next thing to keep an eye on, in my opinion, is if that continues, if Ridgeline even continues as a studio, because he was the one starting it. He was the one talking about hiring. He was the one sending job postings. Like, he was the dude at Ridgeline Studios that EA was starting. So him leaving before they even announced it. And that's where I saw people saying maybe he's already done what he needs to do. It's like, dude, they haven't even announced the game or what they're working on yet. There's no way he's done everything he needs to do. They're probably still in the rough concepting phase. Like, there's no,
maybe he just didn't like the direction it was going in, or I mean, he was probably planning on this a long time ago.
That's what it feels like, doesn't it, Blue? Like, he didn't like how it was headed. Is the only way you leave this early.
I mean, there's so many other developers that have left before 2042 was officially announced. There's some, of course, that left afterwards. yeah, I guess this isn't such a great time to be a Battlefield fan.
Yep.
And if that is the case, if because he like we said, he was the only one that was, what do you guys want to see? What makes Battlefield great to you? And taking all the feedback. And he said like he went through, played all the games, like, did all the research. So somebody that's that hands-on and doing that, um, I think he would have gathered what the fans actually wanted. And like you just went through, the different heads of different areas, like Byron Bean from Call of Duty, all the different positions that they put in place after 2042. It just seems to me like like there's a lot of Call of Duty people involved, and I'm fearful that that's kind of exactly what they're doing, is doubling down on the specialists and doubling, like going it, trying to be like, oh, we just didn't explain it right. If we do it again, but like, explain it better, then
Yeah,
it'll
I
be
Yeah.
better. Then it will be received better. When anybody in the community could, that's what's concerning, is because he was taking feedback and now he's gone. It's like, well, clearly there must have been some sort of just like disagreement then in direction, because he was
yeah.
the only one listening to the fans.
That's what it feels like. We can't say for sure, right? Like we don't have confirmation, but that's just how it feels. That's how things kind of add up. But we won't be able to confirm it, like you said, Buff, until we see what's announced next year, and then we'll be able to kind of backfill what actually is going on. So,
But to be honest, from like a PR standpoint, I'm surprised there hasn't been a statement released or something, because it really looks very, very bad to have him just leaving so suddenly. And I don't know that we will hear anything from him, because he's probably has signed an NDA.
probably,
And we probably won't hear anything for however long that NDA lasts, if ever. But from a PR standpoint, like, you released a trash game, and then you went through this, tried to get this goodwill back, and now you have somebody that was actually interacting and listening to the fans leaving. It just doesn't look good. And honestly, it's a little bit like heartbreaking. I guess is maybe one of the word I'm looking for. Like, I'm definitely don't have a good outlook on Battlefield right
yeah.
now.
I
I
think
don't think any of us did, but this is definitely not helping.
I think it's more scary for the franchise for me, because
Yeah.
that is the only developer that's been transparent and interacting with the community that I could remember since I've been on
Right.
Twitter and kind of within Battlefield community. Like, they're always radio silent. They just do what EA tells them to do. The community managers don't even interact too awful much. But then you had this high up developer that was part of, and somebody said this on X, and I totally agree with the wording, part of the Avengers to come in and save Battlefield. Vince Zappella,
Right.
Brian Bead, Rebecca Kutaz, and Marcus Leto. They were the Avengers. Like, after it left, they were the super team that was supposed to come in and attack this thing and turn it around. And then you have one of them leave before it's announced, and the person that left was the one interacting with the community. It's like worst case. If any of the others had left, minus maybe Vince, I would be like, oh geez, that sucks. But where it's like the guy that was interacting with us, that's why it sucks.
And I didn't think of, the what you just brought up is not something I thought of prior to tonight's show. Is, what if there was a disagreement and he didn't want to do specialists and they did? So that just honestly scares me to death, that next year we're going to get an announcement and they double down on specialists, and like Battlefield's just like the only hope in AAA gaming I have left. It's like, come on, like, turn the clock back one more time. Just release one more banger.
That's what
I know they can do it. And then, like, if they double down, man, I might just never play video games again. That would be heartbreaking.
Gray zone. But that's what that's what I talked, or that's what Tom Henderson said though, was we haven't seen the end of Specialists, and the narrative part of it was supposed to be Specialist. So I don't know, man. We'll have to see.
That's why, again, I don't expect a campaign.
When I want to put out a fire, what I do is pour gasoline over the fire, and that usually works. So I think they have the right mindset here.
Yeah, Mr. Bag Noodles in chat is exactly right. Sometimes I get a little bit too pessimistic, and my wife is like, "Why are you being so pessimistic?" And I came up with this saying. I was like, as a pessimist, I'm either correct. The two outcomes, I'm either correct or I'm pleasantly surprised. That's the two outcomes if I'm a pessimist. And I think that's how we need to be
if you're an optimist
with Battlefield.
Yeah. And I think we all also need to remember is like when that game was about to release 2042, you had developers who had been there for many titles at that point saying like, guys, I've worked on so many Battlefields. It just needs a little bit more time in the oven. That's all. It's going to be a great. And so no matter, we're not going to, we're going to get trailers and this and that. And I don't think we're going to really have any idea what the game actually is like until it's released.
Yeah.
If there even is a beta, they lied to us. And they stole a lot of money. And
they stood their ground.
Had they
tried to convince us,
yeah, had they been upfront and actually shown that title, no one would have bought it. So, people need to definitely not be pre-ordering and this and that this time around. And if they drop the ball again, then Battlefield.
The thing is, though, it's gonna be again people that are informed know not to do that, but again, the people that are just playing Battlefield on their consoles, they don't really listen to podcasts, they don't go on Twitter, they just play games on their console. They're gonna pre-order again.
Battlefield will always sell a lot.
as much as there's a good amount that understand what Battlefield used to be, there's a lot that were also probably just introduced to Battlefield because of 2042, and they're gonna expect the next one to be like that.
And that's fair, but I think Steam charts, for the most part, you have Battlefield 2042 player counts, just looking at Steam charts.
It's low, yeah.
Are low, and then you have more numbers playing 5, 4, and 3 than you do with 2042.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. But then I look at the console, but then again, even the low player base, they're still making the same amount of money, if not more, because of all the
live service
cosmetics.
Thanks, live service. Yep, exactly, Boo. Very good point. I've actually been working Battlefield 5 back into the stream rotation in the evenings, and it's fun. I have to use that Battlefield hacker website to scan my servers before I join to look for hackers, and you can find a few clean ones and play and have fun. And it's bittersweet, man, because you're like, dude, this game's fun, right? And you're like, shh, are they ever gonna be able to do this again? I don't know. Weird. Weird feeling. I get a little emotional when I play Battlefield.
Probably not.
The answer's no. So we'll see. This doesn't feel good.
We already saw the best of Battlefield.
We do know, like, if we kind of tie a bow on this or recap just a little bit. I'm trying to think, because I have listened to all the earnings calls. They talked about how the next experience, and ironically, Andrew Wilson said the next Battlefield is going to be a community-driven experience.
Is that what it's going to be?
It's going to be for the community, not a love letter to the fans. This time it's community-driven. It's different. It's different buzzwords. It's different gaslighting. But it's going to be a community-driven.
I bet it's the furthest along in development too.
And it's going to be Battlefield. It's going to be Battlefield as an ecosystem across different platforms. It's going to be a robust, engaging live service. And
just you know what I want to hear is we're bringing back old Battlefield. That's all they got. That's all I got to say, man. Like, I'm so sick of it. Like, if I'm at this point, like, I hope I'm pleasantly surprised, but I really hope they double down on this specialist crap in the game, and the whole franchise just goes under. If they're that stupid to keep doing this dumb shit, they deserve to the franchise should just die, like Medal of Honor at that point.
I'm to the point. My expectations are like, it would take so little to impress me. All they have to say at this point is, we put a modern skin on Battlefield 5. That's where I'm at. Like, that's it. In a sentence, how do you want to make the next Battlefield? Put a modern skin on Battlefield 5. And that's where I'm at now.
Yeah. Would be sweet. You would think, but the decision making over there they don't have a very good track record the past.
True. This Leto leaving is not a good vibe. So we'll keep an eye out on things going forward. Like, if anybody comes out with a statement or anything, I would expect enough people are talking about this. You have different news organizations talking about it. I mean, the Scope FPS podcast is talking about it. Big deal. So
clearly,
I mean, obviously. So
on the plus side, though, on the plus side, if they do mess this one up and the franchise doesn't go under, we only need to wait 5 to 6 years for the next title. So,
That's it.
while
Yeah.
Call of Duty releases a game every single year, Battlefield's on the 5 to 6 year train right now. And then we can get 5, 6 years of amazing live service with one map per 7 months. It's going to be crazy, guys. Everyone should be really
Buckle up.
excited for the game.
Yeah, get excited.
Yeah. Like,
Everybody's like,
big smiles.
where's season 7?
Yeah.
Where's season 7? The Battlefield music. Help,
I heard they're bringing in. I heard that they're going to bring in one map and 1.78 of a gun. Are you guys ready for that? It's going to be wild.
A new barrel?
And they added some shipping containers to some of the previous maps.
Maybe a
too,
sandbag if you're lucky.
Yeah. I mean, they're really going above and beyond, and new specialist abilities like shooting grapple guns and mech suits. It's going to be so cool, dude. They're crushing it. I love that.
I really think in the corporate world, and unfortunately AAA gaming is corporate, right? It's all about making money, and it's monkey see, monkey do. And I think EA, it makes sense to me that they're having a hard time letting go with the specialists, because Apex Legends is like their only shooter success in a really long time. And the reason they're able to market off of it and do seasons is because of the heroes, or the legends. They're called the Apex Legends, the legends. And I think because of the success of that is why they're having a hard time letting specialists go in Battlefield. And
have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Like, that's just the callback I'm hearing. It's like they're literally killing themselves. Like, the irony here is that they have like the formula's there and they're just too stupid to see it.
Yeah.
So dumb. It drives me crazy. Let's switch topics before I have a fucking heart attack.
Let's do it. Let's talk about something positive, and that is Rainbow Six Year 9. And I know you guys don't play Rainbow Six too much, so I don't want to spend a ton of time boring my two co-hosts to death talking about Rainbow Six. But Year 9 is like a really big deal. And I will say a couple things that I saw when they revealed all this stuff via Starlink, baby, was that I don't think, and you guys can comment on this because this is kind of crazy, it doesn't sound like there's not going to be a Rainbow Six Siege 2. That's something I kind of have wanted in the past. But the director for Rainbow Six said we've seen other games do this and it's not going so well. And I did say that too. Like, CS is going to be a really good case study on if Rainbow should do it again. Overwatch 2, not so good. But he literally said, I don't want to name names, but other games have done this and it's not turned out well. And that Rainbow Six is here to stay far beyond in the future. And they also said that Year 10, so they talked about in 2025 and 6, they said where the next 6 Invitational World Championships is going to be. So it's going at least another 2 years. This is Year 9. And they said something big and fundamental is going to happen for Year 10. I could see an engine upgrade in Year 10. Essentially a Siege 2.
I was going to say that's what they need to bring in.
It feels like you can keep the receipts, you can clip it, and all that stuff. I think that Year 10 is going to be a big Siege engine update, and I'm hopeful for that, for something big in Year 10. But yeah, I want to run through some of these things with Year 9. Again, it's crazy. We're Year 9, and unlike Battlefield, it's 4 seasons a year. Every 3 months, you get a new season in Rainbow Six.
Actual content.
So the only negative, I
That's
guess,
crazy.
you could take from this whole thing is they've backed off with operators. And I think that's okay. They did talk about how early on in Siege that they wanted to get to 100 operators on each side. I don't know if that's even possible. But what's going to happen this year is you're going to get a new operator in Season 1. So that's in a couple weeks. It's already on the test server. That's what's cool about these announcements. You can already play the new season on the test server. There's also Recruit Remaster next season, a new operator in Season 3, and then Blackbeard. They didn't come out and say it, but they teased. It's essentially going to be Blackbeard gets a rework in Season 4. So Recruit rework, but only 2 new operators instead of the usual 4. It was 8 before that. So they're winding down on operators, which I get it, because there's a lot of power creep going on. There's a lot of ops that do the same thing, but just different or better. And there's power creep, and it feels like they're running out of ideas. So I don't hate that. So a quick rundown of what you get. I think this is all really cool stuff. A lot of it's really cool stuff, not all of it. You get a new attacker demos, updated shield mechanics. I'm not excited about updating to shields. With shields, they're giving more operators ballistic shields. They're making it to where you can reload your gun, do your abilities and stuff from behind cover. And you can also take shields, jump in barricades, and you can actually knock people over. You can stun players and knock them over with the shield, which does suck, but you can't shoot from cover anymore. So there would be a thing where you could put your handgun around the side of the shield and just shoot. Can't do that anymore. You have to expose your head to shoot. So that's a little bit give or take. There's huge attachment changes. One thing they did say is they want the TDM meta to die, which is awesome. They want Siege players to be, they want to be the best tactical shooter out there, and they want players to be rewarded for mental, tactical, thought out gameplay. Right now, it's really strong to the TDM meta. People run around and play like COD. If they're really good aimers, they want to work on that. So they're doing big changes to ADS. They're doing big changes to sights. They're getting rid of sights and adding more magnified scopes. Getting rid of 1.5x. They're adding a cosmetic locker so you can see all your cosmetics in a little easier place. LMGs are getting a balance. They're getting easier to shoot, but harder to handle. Zombies, barricades get broken. Battle pass and event. That's season 1. If you look on here though, what I would argue is the biggest thing under player protection: data ban improvements. So what they're actually doing, the anti-cheat stuff sounds awesome, and I know Call of Duty has done this with and talked about it, and it just turns out to be lip service. With a lot of us think that Ricochet is a psyop and not even real, but I have noticed changes in Siege to cheaters when they talk about cheaters, and what they're talking about doing sounds awesome. They're actually adding AI and machine learning to data bans improvements. So this year will be a new anti-cheat. The AI anti-cheat is actually happening, and it's going to take a look at using data to do that. It's going to be refined over each progressing season throughout the year, but the first iteration of it launches this first season. And they're changing ranked playlists. They're going to make it harder to smurf. You have to, if you don't play ranked, you have to re-unlock it. So a lot of cheaters that'll rotate accounts. They'll cheat on it, and then next season they'll play on a different one. They'll cheat on it, and they change it like that. So they're working on that. Then in season 2, they're changing ban enforcement on Steam and again on Uplay to where they're doing, it sounds like, hardware bans. So if you get banned, they're working on ways. I know people will get around it. I know spoofers will hit it. But they're making it to where if you can't buy a new account, you get banned. So that's awesome.
That's smart. Yeah,
and then
thank God.
What was really awesome is they're doing a reputation system is all changing and stuff. That's whatever. But with Mousetrap. So what they're doing when now in season 3 and 4, whenever you get detected using a mouse on console, they put you in the PC player match pool. So they're like, you want to use a mouse, you can go play with PC players. So they're not even they're not even messing with it. So that's super, super cool. And then in season 4, they're actually allowing console players to play with PC players if they want to. You have to opt in. And it's a one-way street. PC players can't go play with console players. Console players have to opt into PC. And then they're also doing match cancellation 3.0, which is they're kicking cheaters automatically in-game. Like Valorant anti-cheat, if a cheater is detected in the game, they're kicking them. Then that match is canceled right away. So the anti-cheat is getting way more robust this year. They spent a lot of time talking about it. It was awesome. So I don't know how much more. I don't want to put you guys to sleep and bore you to death.
Did you say they were reworking some of the operators too?
The recruits are getting reworked. And then Blackbeard's getting a rework in season 4. And
we
then,
don't know what it is though.
They didn't say. No, they'll have to.
Okay.
They'll say it when he gets closer.
I always liked Blackbeard and Fuse were like my 2 favorite because AK-12 and Mark 17.
Yeah, they'll be a lot different. Fuse will be different because he has a shield, so you get all those updated shield mechanics. And then
nice.
I don't know what they're gonna do to Blackbeard. That'll be crazy. They've added they're doing a bunch of new training tools. They're doing a whole bunch of AI stuff where you can play against AI and practice, and they're trying to get it to where new players have some chance to learn. They're adding a couple things. The one thing I really didn't like was they're going to allow people to turn on a way to pre-visualize throwables. So there'll be like a white line where your throwable is going to go, because all the throwables in the game have like different things and different kind of trajectories. I think that kind of dumbs down the game a little bit, and part of learning how to use grenades and stuff effectively is like playing it. You just have to learn like how to throw some of that stuff, and it's different. It's a
Yeah.
little bit of a skill gap. So I didn't really like that. That's one of the only things. Another thing I'm excited about is season 3. They're adding a siege. The Siege Cup is coming back. So that'll be like tournaments you can sign up for, like on the weekends or something. You can sign up for a tournament in game, and it puts you with other 5-stacks. So you have a full team of your friends, and it puts you in a tournament bracket with other 5-stacks of similar skill level, and you actually play
cool.
through a tournament just like Pro League in game, and can win like unique cosmetics and stuff in the Siege Cup. So
Fine, Crash. I'll reinstall it. Jeez.
it's time to sweat, man. It's time to sweat it out in the Siege Cup, dude.
Won't
yeah,
stop begging me to reinstall.
I'm sorry. One of the big things I've hated is they took away the T-Hunt to warm up with, and they're adding some new AI stuff that's going to be essentially T-Hunt. It sounds like basically the maps are going to have targets in every room, and then they're adding map filters and standard playlists, which is awesome. You can make it feel more like ranked for a little bit better of a warm up, and then lots of good balancing stuff. Nerfs to Solus and Fenrir and Dokkaebi. Those are all necessary. Ban those a lot. And they also said they want to update. They want to update communication, so they're going to do big devlogs every 2 months on the state of the game, balancing what they're working on. And yeah, they're adding some new long-term progression stuff, some badges, stuff I don't care about too much. But yeah, I don't have too much to add. I think that's the main stuff. But I'm excited for the thing. It's kind of sad. This is where we're at. But the thing I'm most excited for is AI anti-cheat. I've been wanting that in the games. Siege is probably my overall favorite shooter. So to see AI anti-cheat, machine learning coming to my favorite game is pretty hype. Pretty excited. So I'm hopeful.
That's awesome.
I'm hopeful it feels
This is
better.
year 9, right?
Yeah, this is year 9. And
wow.
Yep.
Impressive.
Seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4 are confirmed. It's pretty cool. And this is one of the most. If you at surface level, you're like, man, only 2 new ops. But if you look at everything else, you can tell it just really feels like feel like new ops are getting a little noisy, and they're focusing on the pillars of the game. They're revamping a lot of stuff. There's a ton of balancing stuff, and they're really working on the AI stuff with onboarding. And they're also working on like a big revolutionary change to matchmaking in season 4 too. I've a lot of the stuff I bitch about is being addressed this season. So I don't know. It's pretty encouraging. If the game would just not crash on my PC, that would be super neat. Because the last time it made me want to throw my PC out the window. I tried to play this game.
Interesting. Interesting stuff with that issue.
Oh, my internet died. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I've been hearing you. You hear me, Buff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, my internet crapped out for a second.
I thought it was me. Thank God.
No,
what was I saying?
Stream's still up. Up.
Yeah, stream's still going.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
Play hiccup. I was saying, like I had a lot of fun playing this game in 2019, so I definitely would jump back in. I just need to warm up, have some time to like relearn everything and get used to the movement. But it's definitely a great game, especially when you can play with some friends.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. If you want to get back into the game, it's gonna take some hours, like, to be competitive again, because there's a lot to it. But on the flip side, like, I think they're adding some tools to help with that. There's a
That's
way.
What it sounds like.
There's a way you can play like AI against how and learn maps, and there's also like there's one that's really cool. I actually did a little bit today because I realized that I need to learn some of the new maps better. You can actually play a mode where it gives you the call out and the location. You go find it and like grab the objective, and then it's just basically hide and go seek, learn the map. So it's pretty cool. It tells you if it's a bomb site or not. And yeah, man, it's fun. And like Justin said in chat, it is fun on console. It's really fun on console because there's not near as many cheaters. But
yeah.
AI anti-cheat, please. Yeah. So, trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, one thing they're adding that's cool. You'll be able to hop in while you're queuing for a match, you'll be able to hop in the shooting range. Stay warm, stay loose, baby.
Oh, that's cool.
Hop in the shooting range while you're waiting. That's pretty cool. Buff, did you see the Delta Force update? Like the new trailer and stuff?
Yeah, I did.
We can talk about that a little bit if you want to.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
there's like two pieces of news there. There's the new trailer, and then they're taking like a survey to register for an offline like in-person gameplay event in LA, which is
yeah,
going to take place in mid-March. I think it's like March 14th or something like that.
are you flying to LA?
No, I mean, hopefully, if they're going to pay for it, but we'll see. I'm not paying to fly to LA.
Do you want to
but
step foot in LA? You know,
if they pay for the flight and the hotel, I'll gladly go out there to get hands
Invite
on this game.
Buff.
Yeah, right. Somebody, please, no. But that should be a lot of fun. I mean, this is definitely the game I'm most excited for, just because I already have a console. You know, I don't need to like build a new PC for it. So I think this game has a lot of potential. And here with the trailer, it's like a story narrated. It really goes into like what the whole story of this game is, because people are saying like, oh, the campaign's Black Hawk Down, and then it's like a modern day or if semi-future.
Yeah.
So this kind of explains it. You know, you have the events that took place in Mogadishu in 1993. You're going to be able to replay that for the single player, and then you're going forward here to 2035, where the multiplayer is, where you have Hazard Zone and or Hazard Warfare and whatever. It's like the conquest
we'll
mode
see.
and it's the two game modes I've talked about: the extraction and then the multiplayer. But yeah, pretty much what the objective is there's a major corporation here trying to, like, you know, under the guise of like bettering the world. And what you're going after there, you see like that little it looks like a crystal type thing, very similar to what you were going after, like the shape wise of in Hazard Zone for Battlefield 2042. And those are apparently like blueprints for this new futuristic whatever it is that the big baddie here, the antagonist has in mind to, you know, better society. So it really kind of explains story wise, you know, where we came from 1993 to where we are now, and why the fighting is happening with these, you know, these different PMC companies and militaries, you know, what you're fighting over, what the reason is. And then that also bleeds into what the story is behind that extraction mode. Is you're really going into, you know, find bits and pieces of these blueprints and different things that go along with the story. So that's kind of what this trailer does. It's a narrative story. What is the whole story behind this? What are you fighting for? What's the reason for this? You know, you're not just random soldiers fighting over nothing. There's a purpose to it.
Yeah.
So you know, definitely watch that on their YouTube page if you guys want to get more information. But Skull Corp vibes. Yeah.
It's like 2.4 million views.
Yeah. And man, name nobody says in chat there, Skull Corp vibes. Like it really does have like those vibes from Breakpoint, Skull Corp. Like, you know, the futuristic, that we're gonna better society through technology and advanced civilizations and all that stuff.
A lot of
It really seems like a very, and I said this last time we talked about it. It seems like they took bits and pieces from like the best games that, you know, all of us would kind of shooter wise would pick, and they took the best pieces of that and kind of threw it all together and refined
game modes, the look, the feel. It's funny too, in the trailer you can see two vehicles that it's like, oh, I guess it's confirmed some of the vehicles now, and then one of them is being, I guess they never, even in the year 2035 or 36, I think is what this game takes place in.
Yep.
They still have an M1A4 Abrams tank rolling around. Oh, can't.
Sorry, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
There he is.
Yeah.
Why would we
Exactly.
change that, baby?
And then there's a little like 4-person troop transport called a Valkyrie. So that's gonna be like their little Jeep, or it's like a, I don't know, it looks like a off-road type of vehicle. So maybe it's a Forerunner. Just kidding. It's called a Valkyrie. So it's it's cool little like specs to it. If you like pause it at the right time, it says like unarmored. So it'll be just
cool.
like a, you know, movement vehicle. So yeah. I'm excited to get into it as well.
You got like some
I'm feeling like
Comanches
the
there too. It
campaign.
looks like.
Yeah, I'm thinking the campaign will be like, oh, you'll like relive the events of like Mogadishu, Black Hawk Down,
Yeah.
scenario, and then it'll be like, a couple years later, you move on to like, maybe you'll be looking at the that'd be cool. Maybe you'll be looking at the crash site, and then like the next level is like you're looking at the same crash site, and a couple years later, I don't know. I think it's cool, but
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good possibility. But I think you're right. It seems like they're gonna like the original campaign from Delta Force, which was the Black Hawk Down events. Like you're gonna basically replay that, whether it's one for one. I think they kind of modernize, like redoing. It's not gonna be the same story because obviously that would be dated. Probably add a lot more to it. But yeah, I mean that's gonna
we
be a
know
lot
there's
of
gonna
fun to
be
play.
like, if there's gonna be we don't know yet. I don't know if plane combat.
I don't. Yeah, so I'm not sure about plane
I bet
combat.
so.
But I mean, they have the F-35s in the trailer. I know there's going to be tanks and other
Little single
vehicles.
seat,
So
one engine
yeah,
vehicle. So yeah, I saw that. I thought I saw an A10 towards the end.
you did. Yep,
As well too.
there's an A10. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very quick, very quick. And then like some weird IFV Bradley, or like with like super smooth armor looking type of vehicle.
Yeah,
Something a little probably more futuristic, maybe like a stealth Bradley, which would be funny, but
it looks like it looks like a mix of like a Merkava and like a Bradley or something like just
because I had like the
slanted
height of a
armor.
Bradley, but like the cannon of
Yeah,
maybe something a little bit more like that. But
Mhm.
and then that dual rotor helicopter is called a what you said earlier?
Well, there's like I don't know if I'm talking about if we're seeing the same helicopter. There's one there that's a Comanche that was
Yeah.
like the old canceled. It was supposed to replace the Apache as like a stealth recon. Yeah, so that thing right there, it looked like a Comanche. Maybe it could be. I'm sure that it looks like a
There's probably
Comanche
some futuristic
plus
designation.
plus other like a KA-52 with a dual rotor, kind of like they come through that into one. So
Mhm.
I mean, they're getting
looks pretty
creative, which
dope.
is cool. Yeah, I mean, I like it. This is a game I'm most excited about right now, specifically from a console perspective. I think it has a lot of definitely a lot of possibilities if they stick the landing, which everything I think I've seen so far is looking good. And I've seen a lot of multiplayer gameplay too out there on YouTube. You can find it on like some Spanish and Chinese channels, and everything looks pretty fun. So,
Dude,
Nice.
man, I hate to be a downer. I'm really off on this game. I don't know why. It might
think
be,
once you get your hands on it,
yeah. I'm open to it, but I just, it might be the PTSD from 2042. I despise the specialist stuff I see, and like some of the colorization and some of the soldier outfits look
Too
a
vibrant.
lot like 2042, and some of the
I
map
know what you
design
mean.
gives me that vibe of 2042, and I just. Ugh.
I think a lot of
that's
the
why
game.
I haven't been talking about it because of that. It's a little
Yeah.
bit too colorful, too again like this heavy into the specialist. But then they bring me back in with like the game modes and some of the. I mean, even the trailer was pretty well put together as well.
Yeah. And I will say that the gameplay I've seen, it doesn't look like too colorful or anything like that. Like the gameplay I've seen looks very grounded. And specialist wise, I
So
haven't
the
seen any
trailers
crazy
are
creatures.
separate from what you've seen gameplay wise a little bit.
Yeah, the gameplay looks very grounded. Like this is all clearly like obviously pre-rendered.
Wait, the trailers don't represent the game.
but
2042
I mean,
game.
I just don't want to see wingsuits,
I didn't see any
flying
of
around.
that, no.
I mean, I get it though. There is that part in the trailer where a guy sends a drone from his wrist, and drone warfare is a thing. Even in today's modern battlefield, it's not as pretty and high tech with coming off your wrist, but it's there. And then just like the little part at the end of just like them all running, towards an objective. It just it gives me that part gave me Battlefield vibes for sure.
Yeah.
But that gave me a little bit like Battlefield PTSD, so
it really the gameplay and the multiplayer gameplay specifically that I've seen, it really kind of reminds me of like a Battlefield 4 / like 5-ish mix, I want to say.
with like advanced warfare type of storyline behind it with like the corporations and the private companies.
Right.
And
But you're not getting that
yeah.
crazy stuff in game. Like the only special stuff I've seen gameplay wise is a wrist mounted like grenade launcher
Or like the
that
scanner or
yeah.
the crossbow,
Well, I
or
haven't
the
seen
not the
gameplay
crossbow,
of
the
those
bow and arrow.
ones. So I don't know how
But in the
those
old
look in
trailers,
game.
there was like the pre-rendered gameplay,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
so we've seen it, we just haven't seen someone actually use it. But then again, there was a bow and arrow expo, in Battlefield 4. So, it's not it was,
Yeah.
kind of like a funny weapon to use. But
But those ones
yeah.
also appear to be like because the wrist mounted grenade launcher that I saw, and you can catch it here in the trailer. When I saw the gameplay of that, it's like a limited use. Like you'll use it, and it takes time to like recharge. You can't just go around spamming like your
Even
specialist
like the
ability
medic
or anything.
gun as well too. Again, kind of reminiscent of 2042, but
Yeah, it's like a one
yeah,
for
it's
one.
yeah, but it's not like shooting from across, the battlefield. It's more just like coming up to your person and actually
Right,
killing them,
right.
which would be really interesting in their extraction game mode as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I will say like the extraction gameplay that I've seen, that's that's basically it's DMZ with all the elements of like Tarkov injected into it. So I mean, that's what I want to see. So for me, I mean, that's a big hell yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's it. And the cool part about it is that is not. I will be honest with you here. The thing that's not like Battlefield 2042 is this is going to be free to play. So we'll get to try it with no financial risks, right? So everybody gets to see at the end of the day. So
Yeah, not dropping $100 like a moron on a game.
Yeah, we'll get to check it out. So I can't complain at all because we'll all get to try it for free. So.
Yeah.
All right. Boss Sock
caveat.
got an update, man. Devlog number 10. And I just watched it a little bit before we went live. Mainly, there's not a lot of new gameplay stuff that the untrained eye would notice. It's more about everything going on with the transfer to the new engine and also rebuilding assets. So he's already talked about rebuilding the maps and things. And now this is more about rebuilding a lot of the assets and stuff within the new engine. But there's just some really cool stuff. And if you go ahead and watch this and you notice some of the things within it, you see this process again, how he goes around and takes pictures of like dilapidated rundown buildings. And then you see like one-to-one transformations of those into assets. So again, making everything from scratch, from his own pictures, his own textures and everything like that. And then the way he shows in this devlog, you see some of the water and like the lighting with that. And then he shows playing the harmonica by the fire. Did you see that, Blue? And playing the guitar? I'm
excited. Yep. And the guitar.
That was sick.
Yeah.
And I feel
so the person who made the animations is gonna like work on like getting the animations match the music eventually as well too, like later down the line.
Close already. I thought.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty close, but and then like the end trailer teaser of like the bandits walking through, and they actually went out and filmed like on location with like real people and real uniforms, real weapons. Like this guy's putting the work, man.
Yeah, let me see if I can find some of this stuff in the game.
Yeah, that new devlog looked awesome. So
I saw VSS Ventores. I'm excited.
Yeah,
that's
he's got great guns.
Especially as the stalker fan in me is like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
And even coming across YouTube, like the audio of the reload and racking the bolt and stuff was awesome. Even with how YouTube works and coming from that.
Something about just sitting around a campfire and just playing music. I don't know what appeals to me so much about that. Some people look at that and probably see that as one of the most boring things to do in a first-person shooter game. But for some reason, it just hits different when you're the one playing the song, or even when you're just sitting by a campfire, especially when the game finally releases and they allow co-op and stuff like that. You could just be sitting next to your friend next to a campfire while he's playing, the harmonica or guitar. And then maybe where it's like, it'd be cool if they added this. I don't know how easy or hard this would be, but like how Sea of Thieves does it, where like if one of your friends is playing one instrument and you come in with another and it just matches up and then you can
Oh,
basically
yeah.
start being like the harmony. That would be cool. But
They
yeah,
have that in New World, the Amazon MMO. People can start playing and other people can join in with their instrument and you play a song together. Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool.
It's pretty cool. Like the lighting and the animations, even with the guitar, is like it's sick. So, the, all that suffice to say that Road to Vostok is coming together nicely in the new engine, which in and of itself is a huge deal. We've talked about it quite a bit, but I just wanted to let you guys know that Devlog 10 was out there. So if you're interested in that, again, he shows ragdolls, he shows some shooting mechanics, and just the water and some of the water audio is in there too. So, and yeah, public demo is right around the corner. So this is some of the stuff that
Yeah,
you're
we're
gonna
gonna see highway. I think the shipyards is what the other map is called,
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah. So, and your little hideout as well too, where
in
you
the
get
attic
to
or
put,
whatever.
yeah, you get to put loot away, put your weapons on display, put canned goods on the shelves, and it's cool. You actually get to move stuff around and make it your own, not like where Tarkov does it, where it's all kind of just like preset stuff.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's gonna be cool because I just remember the first public demo. I was, you watch the devlogs and things like that, and it looks really neat. But when it's rendered on your own machine, like the way things look is just awesome. Like even it doesn't do it justice with the YouTube compression and stuff like that. And in this one too, they did like you said, that's playing on screen now for those of you watching the visual version of a program. They did like a lore teaser, but it's a live action teaser, like cinematic teaser of bandits and stuff.
A guy holding a little, Makarov, stuff like that, or a Tokarev or Makarov. I had to double check. It looked like a Makarov of some sort, but yeah,
It's a
those are like
Soviet
the
pea
bandits,
shooter.
and then him working on like the AI military faction as well too. Looks like they'll be in some like Russian, or like Russian equivalent camo as well too. So with like that green camouflage pattern, and maybe it was like the start of it, and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited to see more of it. Also, I'm curious if there's gonna be any female bandit characters as well too, or just like because that was in the little like live
Yeah.
action trailer as well too. I think that'd be kind of cool. It's just like everyone got just involved into this, no matter who you are. So
Yeah.
and then like the ice fishing as well too.
Yeah. Oh, dude, if you get fish in the game
Can we go
too,
ice fishing,
let's go. Yeah. No, it's pretty sweet. So that's all looking good, and that is out there for you guys to check out. It's worth a peek, and just imagine like you can go and see the hideout, all the lighting, all the rendering, all that stuff has been switched to a new engine between demos, and
so cool.
it looks even better rendered on your machine. Trust me.
I'm excited for this one.
I thought we would end the day with I think it's pertinent to our discussions today, with a little What's on X segment. And I realized just now, while the show is live, that I don't have a way to pump in desktop audio into the podcast. You won't be able to listen to the tweet. So great.
Bad face.
Awesome. But I will explain it to you. This will be better for no one, but I'm going to try to explain it to you. Enders, everybody's favorite Battlefield creator, controversial Battlefield creator, did a video on X talking about how he did a video talking about how Battlefield does need a battle royale to succeed and how everybody gets mad. And I can attest to this as I built my channel in the lead up to 2042, and I talked about how there needed to be a battle royale or a new kind of, it ended up being Hazard Zone. Now, people would get so mad. Those videos got so disliked all the time. And so basically I want to get your guys' take, and then I have a very thought out take on a battle royale on Battlefield. I want to see what you guys think.
I mean, for me, as much as I don't enjoy battle royales, I know they're super popular in keeping a game alive for a good couple years. That's kind of just what people, what gamers want to play. Again, me and Buff probably on the same page. We want more extraction based game modes, and that's why Hazard Zone I was looking forward to it because it was kind of like on that level of gameplay. But I mean, Firestorm was it in Battlefield 5?
Hmm.
If
Was
it
awesome.
wasn't behind a paywall, it would probably still be played today. 100%. I think the destruction, the Battlefield's destruction, on terms with a battle royale. I think it looked. I mean, it played amazing, um, but it just was basically neutered at the start. So
Yeah, I forgot what Teamer said in chat. There was no anti-cheat at all in Firestorm 2. There is it in
that's
Battlefield 5.
That's
So that's important.
Nice, nice.
But yeah.
What do you
Eh.
What do you think, Buff?
What was Ender's reasoning? Did he give a
Basically,
reason?
he said, and it's a lot of what I think too. He said he did a video about that, and everybody in the comments was freaking out, saying that Battlefield just needs to do Battlefield. It just needs to do Battlefield. And we get caught saying that sometimes too.
It needs to
But
do
what he's
both,
saying
though.
is for a company with the budget of EA, there's no reason they can't do both. There's no reason they can't make a good Battlefield and have a battle royale on it, because like I've said, he echoed exactly what I've said in the past. If you have a good battle royale along with a good multiplayer experience, people are going to try battle royales or extraction modes. Like, that's the new thing. That's the great thing with shooters. That gets everybody to try it. And then they're like, oh, like with Firestorm, man, these vehicles are kind of good. Or, dude, that destruction is actually sick. Or this game is beautiful. Well, why don't I try the multiplayer too? And then you have a direct pipeline to bring people into the multiplayer. Call of Duty has done that well, where they've kind of turned multiplayer into a lot of people playing multiplayer, leveling guns for the battle royale. But it brings more people to multiplayer. And what he's saying, and I totally agree with it, is if you have a good BR with a good Battlefield, the community will grow quickly. And that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like Blue said, I would prefer an extraction shooter. But that being said, I do think Firestorm did a very unique and great take on a battle royale to make it, because I think Warzone had already launched at that point. It launched after Warzone. Or was it before Firestorm? I think it was before.
You're talking about like when Firestorm released first.
Yeah, it launched before Warzone, so it launched after, I think, Blackout, right?
Yeah, but then again, it was still behind that paywall as well too.
It was. Yeah, I'm just trying to think what other
Such a long time
battle royales were out at the time. So I think it launched in sometime in late 2018 or early 2019. I want to say it was
2018. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so it was before Warzone, but regardless, I think they did. PUBG was out at the time. You had Blackout from Black Ops 4, but they did a really unique take on a battle royale at the time, which, like Blue said, if it were free to play, would have been amazing, right? It would have been huge for the game, because I was excited to play it too.
But this was peak battle royale too.
Yeah, and I couldn't just. The reason, if it were free to play, I would have played it. I wasn't going to justify paying the full price tag for the game just to play the battle royale, which I think is the same conundrum a lot of people ran into with that game. But I do agree. The only issue with saying that, I mean, he's 100% correct. But I think the one issue I see there is, can EA and DICE do multiplayer correctly and do Battlefield correctly? Because so far they haven't been able to do multiplayer correctly. They haven't done single player, and the extraction mode that they launched in 2042 was an unfinished nightmare that was also behind a paywall, which didn't make any sense. I remember the hype for the Hazard Zone trailer, how excited everybody was for it, and then they said it was, not a free to play, and that basically killed all the hype for that mode. So I agree, whether it's extraction mode or battle royale, it needs to be free to play, period. They need to get away from this, putting it behind a paywall, because it hasn't worked every time they've done it so far. And they need to first off, they need to release a very good classic multiplayer Battlefield experience. If they forego the single player, fine. But then I think, 4 or 5 months down the road, then you release that free to play experience. And if they can both be fleshed out, that's the resurgence of Battlefield right there. The
I mean,
question
when they
is,
had free to
can
play
they do it?
weekends, a lot of players came and tried out Battlefield, and
Mhm.
especially in 2042 recently, and
I remember, yeah.
some players were were retained because of that free to play weekend.
Mhm.
So having a free to play mode just makes sense.
It does, because then you. I mean, think about it from a if somebody doesn't want to justify paying the $60-$70 price tag for the game, then you have a free to play mode, whether it's extraction or battle royale. You get to have hands-on experience with the game, feel how it plays, how's the gunplay, what weapons, how do they feel, how does the movement feel, all this stuff, and then you say, hey, I like this, I want to get these other weapons, I'm gonna buy the game and play the multiplayer and level this stuff up so I can use it. And that's how it works. I think that's why we see Call of Duty and Warzone has gone to the next level since Warzone's release. So I completely agree with him. It's not if they do a multiplayer correct mode, justice, and then come out with a free to play BR or extraction shooter that's also very fleshed out. It's not going to hurt. It's only going to better the community and the franchise as a whole. So there's if they do it right, there's no negative to it. Question is, can they do it right?
And what Rain said
Yeah.
in chat, it's a perfect mix. Frostbite is an engine
Right.
that's already built for big maps and a lot of people and destruction. What do you want in a battle royale? Those things. So
Yeah.
it shouldn't be a far reach. And my biggest takeaway from this whole discussion is we should not expect less from a AAA multi-billion-dollar publisher
Right.
just because they haven't been able to do it in the past. They still have a massive budget. They're still a AAA shooter. They should be able. They have still a whole bunch of developers. They have a massive amount of people that work on the game. There is no reason that we shouldn't be able to have a good multiplayer and a good battle royale. There should be both.
You're 100% correct. There is no reason, but that's the sad part is that they haven't been able to even produce a good game
Yeah,
with this last title, which is like completely insane. So exactly, they have this huge budget. There's no excuse. You're right.
Just because they haven't been able to do it in the past doesn't mean they should be let off the hook.
Exactly. Like
Especially
we
for the price
expect
point.
more of them. And I do remember just going back to Firestorm. Like I remember when that came out, watching like Shroud, Dr. Disrespect, and like Level Cap and some of the big Battlefield creators too. Like, but specifically the Battle Royale, the big Battle Royale guys like Shroud and Doc at the time were just like, this is revolutionary. This could be the best Battle Royale ever, except it's behind a paywall. And then there were some issues that didn't get resolved because like support was basically dropped.
They did the same thing that they've done with Incursions. They did the same thing they did with the arena mode in Battlefield 5. They did the same thing that they did with Hazard Zone. The second it got bad feedback, they just abandoned it. They're so quick to abandon stuff in Battlefield, and they did that with Firestorm. The other thing that killed it was they literally, all those creators that could have made it blow up, they paid them to play Apex Legends. They dropped Apex Legends around the same time for free. They stealth launched it by paying Doc Shroud, all those guys to play it, and just left Firestorm complete out in the cold, which in my opinion is a much better product than Apex Legends. I shouldn't say that. It's a different product. Better for me.
It's different.
It's more what I would want to play. It's my opinion. What I would want to play.
I think they're two very different. Like
they're different. I shouldn't have said that. I take it back. It's not.
I agree. Yeah,
it's subjective to me.
I'd rather play Battlefield than
get me out of here.
Yeah. But I mean that's a good point. Is we should have those high expectations of Battlefield to do. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to do this. You look at not to be like a broken record, but the content we would get back in the golden age of Battlefield, was insane compared to what we've come to expect, not just from Battlefield, but like the AAA market today. It has just the quality of the products has gotten worse and worse and worse, and the amount of content has gotten less and less and less. And like you're saying, they're making more money today than they ever have. So there's no excuse to not be able to produce this fully fleshed out, well-rounded product that can bring in players who have interest in everything. Your battle royale players, your core multiplayer. Like there should be something for everybody, and it should be fleshed out. It shouldn't be broken and abandoned immediately.
Yeah, to go with what's being asked in chat with Firestorm, I just remember they dropped support for it really early. Like a few months into it, they said they're not going to update anymore because a ton of people were saying, please fix the loot. Like the looting was and inventory was a huge deal. And and Criterion were the ones that did Firestorm. And they said that Criterion has already moved on to other projects. It's not worth them, and they don't have the tech or time to change fundamental things like the looting. So the loot would just puke out on the ground, and then the inventory was really counterproductive. So basically, I think just not a ton of people were playing it because it was behind a $50 paywall. They dropped Apex Legends for free with a massive shadow drop campaign. They paid a ton of streamers to play it. Apex Legends was going crazy. Everybody was talking about it.
Yeah.
And so Firestorm just got put to the back burner. They saw not a lot of people were playing it, so they didn't put the time and money into updating it, and it was super sad. One of my very first videos I made on my channel, like a couple years ago now, or several years ago now, was how I was Firestorm. I think the video was titled like Firestorm was my favorite battle royale that never was, and I talked about how
I saw that.
How it was like that was like one of my first videos.
But they did the same thing with Hazard Zone too. So I mean, they need to get away. They need to get away from
same
this.
thing with Incursions. They just at the first sign of any kind of resistance or people not, they just abandon it. Like
stop.
Gone.
Oh
but,
my
but
gosh,
they're also saying like, oh, you know, the team already rolled on doing their project. Like, what happened? You release a game, you support it for.
You mean a robust live service?
I mean,
I don't understand.
The people that left, they were probably just on contract, moved on after that, you know, or were hired for a specific reason. I think so. I mean,
but that's the same. Like, think about it from a multiplayer perspective. It's like, okay, the multiplayer released. Oh, sorry guys, we can't fix anything now because the team rolled on to another project. Like, that's management issues right there. Is not budgeting and allocating a developer teams to be staggered to support the product you just released. That goes up to upper management at EA, DICE, whoever. Like, because I mean, as much as we bitch about Call of Duty, they at least are fixing their game and supporting their product for the full year.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many ways you can break this down too, and one of them is, you know, Hazard Zone was really pushed, and they went ahead and let people make Tarkov comparisons, like this is going to be a AAA, like DMZ was, and they let people make those comparisons, and they let it hype up the marketing of the game. So Hazard Zone was one of the reasons people were okay with the campaign being gone. They're like, man, you got multiplayer, you got the portal, and you got an entire new mode in Hazard Zone. You got a whole new mode. There's tons of content. So they sold a bunch of games on the premise that Hazard Zone was there. Once they had the money for the sales, they abandoned the mode, took the money to the bank, called it a day.
I don't even think they might have done like one or two little minor updates for that game.
They did some tweaks to it, but
they received like no support.
No, it's rough. It was always rough. There wasn't much there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is that a show?
That's a show.
I think so.
I feel like
pretty packed.
I bored Blue to death. I'm sorry. Wake up, Blue. The show's over. Wake up. No, man. That was a good one. There's a lot of stuff.
Just, you know, it was good. It was good. I just definitely been, this is more of a listening one for me because, again, that was also like me kind of getting back into the swing of things when it comes to like online social media and stuff like that. So
I feel you. We're getting plugged back in. We'll have another good program next week. We'll keep our ear to the ground going on in the FPS space. Should be good.
I just want soccer too. That's all. Okay, sorry.
Can we get my man some soccer too?
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Get him an early copy.
Boom. So, all right, guys. I think that's it. Again, if you want to support the show, be a friend, tell a friend, share it around. We would love that to have more folks come back with us next week and hang out, talk about FPS games. Same goes for the podcast listeners. Share it around if you have a buddy or a friend that enjoys. I don't know what the difference would be between a buddy and a friend. But if they would share it around to them who listen to podcasts, let them know about it. Leave us a kind review on Spotify or an Apple Podcast. We'd forever be indebted to you. Thank you to all the chatters that were here with us live. Enjoyed it very much. Thoughtful conversation as always. Always very impressed with the knowledge of our live audience. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week for episode 111 on Monday, 5:30 p.m.
111
Central. Yeah. All right, guys. See ya.
later.
Bye.
Oh, this is awkward. I didn't have the thing right.